この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Mushishi episodes 10 and 11. Last week we watched episodes 8 and 9. Episode 8 was about regret and the sea and guilt and a bunch of other things. And also the decision to keep on living when things have gone wrong for you and gone wrong for other people in your life. And it was frankly terrifying and also really beautiful in a really weird way. And that was cool. And then episode 9 was about tradition and culture and seeds and decisions and morality and a whole bunch of other things tied up into that, and was also super duper interesting. No idea really what comes next. I know the title of the next episode because it really stood out to me as an interesting title, The White which Lives Within the Inkstone, which makes me think of like yin and yang, how there's like a little dot of white within the darkness of the yang, or is that the yin? I don't remember. That's what it makes me think of, like a light and darkness, but it could also just be a mushi that lives in a dark stone. Totally possible that it's just a literal meaning and not actually figurative. He says about a show that's entirely built on symbolism. I don't know. Expectations? I don't have any for what's actually going to come. I do have expectations for the general nature of the show, which are high. My expectations for Mushishi have become very high. Every episode we've had so far has met or exceeded my expectations, so those expectations keep getting higher. Conveyance, emotion, atmosphere, feeling, all of that shit is like in spades in Mushishi. There's just tons of it, and it's really enjoyable, and we're going to watch some more. And it's going to be chill until it's really not chill, and then it'll probably go back to being chill again. Cool? Cool. Let's watch some Mushishi. I've got episode 10 up and ready to go. The White Which Lives Within the Inkstone. It's at 0 seconds. There'll be 2 versions, picture-in-picture description, timer on YouTube, beep timer soon. If you want the next episodes a little bit early, they'll be up on Patreon a week early. Cool. Check that out. Also in the description. Beep timer. Single step. Have I mentioned how much I love this OP? I know that I have, but I'm mentioning it again because I really love this OP. It's pretty freaking amazing. All right, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Ooh. Is this a Dashino's place? Yeah. Sneak into this place. You gonna find an inkstone? Oh, well, would you look at that? Little bit of water, rub. It is Adashio. And he has his monocle. Is that the girl who touched the inkstone? Okay, they all went into his place. Hmm. Like she's being frozen from within. Yeah. Oh my god. That's... yeah. Why are you sorry? Yeah, you did. Uh-oh. You stupid children. You meddling kids. Okay. That was my most powerful artifact. And you touched it. Hmm. Boarding the place up. Let's not let that happen again. Hmm. It only goes so far. Cool. Oh. How's that possible? Yeah, they're not corporeal. Yeah. But it was cool. It was cool. I got it for like $5 at a garage sale. I think he's aware. Yeah. But guilt. What is it then? Whoa. It's anything but ordinary. Maybe magic will happen if we... Great. Do it anyway. It rubbed off some of the mushi, huh? Maybe? Crap. Crap. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you bought it. Interesting. Ah, a maker's mark. Yeah. Aw, that was really cute. Just that little moment with his like little smirk and just being like, "It's okay, buddy. We'll fix this." She, because they kill people? Because they kill people, probably. Mm. Hmm. A classic collect all of my destructive creations situation. Now there are 6. Crap. Had. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. She rubbed it, but it didn't kill her. Oh. I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Creepy, creepy, creepy. But it doesn't feel right. So she goes back to find more of those rocks? Yeah, why not? Yeah. They don't want you to make ink stones regardless. Oh, he's gonna accept it? Okay, that's cool, dude. Cool. Oh. Oh. And it eventually made its way to a collector. Uh-huh. Got it. Having lost everything, yeah. That's a lot. Thanks, dude. That's a whole lot. Where'd you find that rock? Oh, God, but what about my answers? so that it doesn't hurt other people. Now that's a good idea. Let's see this through to the end, huh? Really hope we can save those kids. Yeah. But being aware isn't the same as being conscious. Yeah. Oh, who's that? Okay. It's not for the ritual. I just need a new one. Cloud eat. Oh, cloud eaters. Got it. Ah. So they are sort of a fossilized mushi, but they live on. That makes sense. In the strange Mushishi way. Hmm. Hmm. See if we can get the mushi out of them or something? Back into their natural habitat? Up in the sky. Yeah. Carrying kids. Crap. Okay. Everybody, it takes a village. To the highest peak of the highest mountain. Oh! All the way to the top. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. It's working! Don't breathe the new one in. Don't give it another host. Yeah, you see the cloud. Whoa. Whoa. They're okay. 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 Lower pressure to pull it out. Hmm. Color comes back into the mountains as well. Greenery and life. Uh, there's still a bunch of minutes left. What are they about? Can I keep my toy, please? Oh, I certainly don't. I sure don't. That little doll head is the worst. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, but if your child is a murderer. Hey man, that's my toy. Once you free the mushi from it. Putting it in water? Yeah. Putting water on it, I suppose. Whoa. That's so cool looking. Goodbye, Mushi. Mushi, what? Hmm. Hmm. Hail without clouds. Ah. Ah. Ooh. Okay, maybe slow down on the hail, please. Oh god. It's breaking everything. Oh, they're just eating it. Cool. Oh, Adashido's eating it too. Oh. I was about to say, do you have that kind of money? No. Since you know. Of course you don't. You really can't. It's kind of cute though. It's kind of freaking cute though. Oh. Oh. Yes or no? Those mushi have been stuck for a long time. Yeah. They're gonna be pooping hail for a while. Oh, wowzers. That's new. I really like that sound. I really like that sound. The Sleeping Mountain. That sounds intimidating. I'm excited. Okay. This is an interesting episode. On the surface, it seems really simple and that the human element here is regret, or more than that, like taking responsibility or feeling responsibility for things that you've done that weren't necessarily in your control but still are your responsibility, right? Like both Adashino and the Inkstone crafter have that going on. I want to spend a moment to think about this one and just see if I can think of another layer to it. um and it's not necessarily that there needs to be another layer. This strikes me as a simple episode, and I think that's a good thing. And I think that this story is good and simple. We've had a couple, maybe even a few episodes recently that have been less simple than the first few. The first few have been Ginkgo arrives at a place, Ginkgo solves a problem. There might be a cost to doing so, but he still solves the problem. And then we've had a few episodes where the problems have gotten more transitive, more weird, and less solvable in a truly like, yeah, we resolved this issue sort of sense. This episode, I feel like we resolved all of the core issues, right? Not only the mushi and the stone themselves, which we free and keep from hurting anybody else, but also we return the Inkstone crafter to her craft, which she obviously cares about very much, but has been avoiding because it seems to cause harm to other people, even though that harm was not necessarily her fault. And now she realizes that she can keep doing what she loves doing without killing her fiance and stuff. And then Adashino, who was slightly careless in the way that he kept his storage shed and feels great responsibility for the fact that a couple of kids came in there and played with some of his toys and caused themselves great stress and great harm and almost died. Um, the line that stands out to me in this episode more than any is the one that's said to the Inkstone crafter, and it starts with "forgive yourself." And I think that's the core key of the episode, but I want to spend a little bit more time with it, and I'm going to skim back through it and see if there's something else that jumps out at me. So give me a moment. I'll be back in a second to talk through the episode again, and there might not be much to talk about, which is totally fine. But give me a second. I'm also going to pay attention to like color and some of the other things, because this one had me enraptured for sure. Okay, I went back through the episode and I come back to this moment. There's this moment and then there's the forgive yourself moment. But both have to do with that core central theme or motif of responsibility. The episode isn't necessarily about that, but it rears its head multiple times over the course of the episode for multiple characters. Um, Consequences. The children suffer consequences for breaking into Adashino the doctor's shed and examining cool toys and playing with things that they shouldn't play with. It's a very, in a Western tradition, they would go and they would play with the inkstone. And they would fucking read the Latin, and then the zombies would come, right? Like Cabin in the Woods, read the Latin, zombies come. Very classic. Meddling with things you don't understand leads to problems. But then the question is, who owns the house and who didn't board it up, right? Usually we do that Cabin in the Woods thing with like, oh, it's creepy and sinister and you're meant to go in there and read the Latin. In this case, it's just a simple mistake, a thoughtlessness on Adashino's part. But it's this moment where we see it really eating at him. And Adashino doesn't strike me as a character who wants that responsibility. He wants to shed it and avoid it if he can, but he can't because it's there and it's his. Likewise, the craftswoman feels responsible for the deaths of these people that she's caused, and she's been desperately trying to seek out this inkstone, but she's also been hamstringing her own life because of it. She's suffering consequences because of it. Both of them are forced to take responsibility for what they've done, even if what they've done wasn't intended to cause harm. It still did, and that hurts them. That's an interesting theme, isn't it? I like this story a lot, partly because it's so simple, and because after going back through it, I'm gonna confirm that I don't think there are more layers to it. It's not hyper complicated. It's not harrowing or crazy emotional or ultra powerful. It's a simple story with simple consequences, and it's about characters who make mistakes and then take responsibility. One thing that I haven't mentioned so far is that the girl decides to tell them what they did. And if she had not done that, they wouldn't have been able to solve the problem, right? Confessing to breaking into Hadashino's storage shed and telling them specifically what she touched and what she played with is the only reason they're able to find the inkstone, find the connection to the people, to the craftswoman, and actually figure out what happened here. So that taking of responsibility is crucial to fixing the problem. And then it echoes out to all of the other characters. One character who we haven't talked about yet, and it's not really a thing that happens in this episode, it's a thing that just is and is demonstrated by this episode, is Ginkgo. Ginkgo has no responsibility in this episode. In fact, in almost every episode, Ginkgo has no responsibility whatsoever. He has no responsibility and no reason to go chasing rainbows with Mr. Rainbow. He has no responsibility and no reason to go out on the waters with the guy pining for his wife and wondering if she'll return. He has no responsibility and no reason to do any of the things that he's doing. He does them anyway. Why? They're not his problem. Mushi aren't even his problem. He made the choice at some point to be a Mushishi and to do this, to go around and find people who are having problems that are not caused by him, that are unrelated to him, and he solves them actively. For what reason? We don't know. We don't really know who Ginkgo is or why he acts the way that he does, but he does it. That's really interesting, and it creates an interesting contrast. Self-forgiveness requires taking responsibility for your actions. You can't forgive what you don't believe you're responsible for, right? This is a cool episode, and it is a simple episode. It doesn't even have the layers of like, oh, there's a thematic color palette for the episode. It's mostly grays with bits of greens and bits of blues and bits of purples in the sky, and that's about it. It just is what it is. It's just a simple, straightforward episode. And that's really freaking cool. I like this episode a lot. It's really simple, and I enjoyed it immensely. Good job, Mushishi. God damn it, there's a vacuum going. Okay, I'm gonna take a breaky thingy, maybe a little bit of a longer breaky thingy to wait for the vacuuming to finish, and do a sinky thingy and be back in a second to watch episode 11 of Mushishi. Not a ton of discussion on this one because I don't think there's a ton to discuss, and I don't want to waste time blathering about things that are relatively obvious. I think the episode sort of stands on its own, and while I like using my time in discussion to highlight things that I enjoy about an episode, if that goes too far, then it goes too far. So breaky thingy, sinky thingy, back in a second for episode 11. Peace. All right, welcome back. We're good to go for Mushishi episode 11. Let's watch it. The Sleeping Mountain, or Slumbering Mountain? Sleeping Mountain? It was a mountain and it's asleep. Beep beep timer. Whoa. Is that fully a hole in the... Yup. That's not normal, dude. Oh. Okay. That's weird. That's not normal. Ooh. Are those persimmons? I hate persimmons. They're so alkaline. I hate them so much. Well, there's a giant hole in it, which is a bit of an issue. Another mushi-shi? Mm-hmm. Something about that seems slightly fishy. Wow, colorful. And persimmons again. Okay. Broke the taboo. Wow. These backgrounds are nice. They all fell ill of a high fever. Okay, so don't go into the mountains unless you're Ginkgo. Whoa. Mm-hmm. Mmm. So that is a real thing. Okay. If you can find them. Hello, said Mushishi? Or some rando? Hello. Child, wake. Oh. Neat. Hmm. A stimulant, you say? I don't feel stimulated at all. Okay. Hmm. Cool. Show me that. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Something's wrong with the Mushishi. That was so cool. That was the most druid thing that I have ever seen. That was so commune with nature. What? What is that? Oh, it's his hat. Hi. What happened to you, Mujika? Oh. Wow, we just jumped to it. And then what happened after you fill in all the exposition that already happened? Easy. That's the coolest fucking thing. What a shame. Hi. Hey. This is the first time we've met another Mushishi. This is sick. Sup, homie? Well, it seems to literally be so. Yeah. I love his design. Such grandpa energy. You're not a Mushishi. You're the guardian. Yep. Whoa, that was a boar. Oh no. You found roots here. How? Okay. Okay. Hmm. Just a little bit of a weird translation. Oh. Oh. Reaching for persimmons. Oh. He grew up in the woods alone? Okay. He is of the mountain, and so you choose for him to be of the mountain forever. That's really interesting. I'd love to know more about that. Soka. Hmm. That applies to you too. Will do. See you, old man. Good luck. Hmm. Hell yeah. Oh, supportive older people is great. Okay, what goes wrong now? We're like halfway through and we figured out the whole problem. So what's up? What's wrong, Ginkgo? Something to do with the hole in the mountain? Are they bells for the death of Mujika? Mm-hmm. Kid's like, all right, you're hiding something from me. That kid is not gonna go back. Oh. Intentionally? Yeah, he's gonna follow. Even the trek back can be great training. What are you doing, old man? Oh, hello. Which is what? Oh, that's why he hasn't taught him. Continued stability for his own life. Ah, that's super cool. What did you say? It's coming. Ah, ah. The opposite of taking responsibility, huh? for having roots. Oh, that's a big snake. It's a real big snake. He's trying to die. Oh, huh? Oh, this is the past moment. What did you say that you regretted so much? Gotta remain a traveling mushi. Oh, the same reason. The same reason. There's one. Hmm. But Saku really wants it to happen. Wow, his own mushi box. Oh. What have you done? Oh, Jesus. Oh, what the fuck? Oh my, oh no. Yeah, connection to the mountain means connection to him. And you awaken there. So the Kuchinawa has taken over as guardian. His whole home is just gone. Whoa. His whole existence was eaten? Wow. Down for the count, still smoking. Replaced completely. Whoa. Yeah, you're a good little mushi-shi in training. Of course. Of course. Oh, bud. Already on his way. Now then. No other recourse. Whoa. That's a big snake. Oh, Kuchinawa sounds so familiar because of a Monogatari. Whoa, the Sleeping Mountain. I don't understand. I need to understand. What's next? Ooh, short ED. Okay, one-eyed fish. This episode is fascinating. Wow. Okay, I have one thing that I remember that I want to talk about, and then everything else is just mush inside my brain. This is just the smallest little moment, and it's a moment of dialogue, and I absolutely freaking love it. I absolutely freaking love this. It's the coolest little transition that I've seen in a long time. It's not a visual transition, it's nothing else. It's the way that the storytelling happens. Okay, so we find Mujiko under his place in the place. Oi. Okay. Black screen. Cut to the place, establishing shot. Cut inside. Kid turns around and says, "And then what? What happened after you slipped and hurt your leg?" Boom. The whole story that may have been told for half an hour before this is just fucking done. It's just fucking done. No time for any of that exposition. The kid just turns around and is like, "And then what happened?" It's so good. It's so good. Why doesn't this form of dialogue happen way more often? Where we just cut to the, it's like, I'll tell you what happened over burgers, right? Cut to the burger shop, cut inside the burger shop. Oh, so he broke up with you, and then what happened? Boom, the whole story just got explained by the other character who's doing like a good communication thing and repeating it back to the person who's telling the story. And then we as the audience don't have to sit through the whole story being told. We just get the gist of it because the gist is being repeated by it, the person. It's so good. So fucking smart. Why isn't this done more? So much of so many shows could be exposited this way instead of all the other ways. I love this moment, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. Or the themes of the episode, or the style of the episode, or the form of the episode, or the gorgeousness of the episode. Holy macaroni. Okay, I want to talk about also the scene where he walks through this forest. Why do we focus on persimmons so much? Do persimmons have a particular meaning? Persimmons, meaning Japan. Persimmon, the divine fruit of autumn. Okay, I read a little bit about persimmons, and they are an interesting fruit. And that idea of a divine fruit kind of resonates with this episode and the nature of divinity in this episode. So, if mushi are life itself, an ethereal spiritual variant of nature, an existence beyond our existence that only a few select people can see. And those people who can see it, who connect the ordinary people to it, who act as guardians, perhaps. Though I don't actually want to use the word guardian, because that's got a specific meaning in this episode that's different. The guardians are those imbued with the power of like control over an area's life force, which is super cool in and of itself as like a world building and idea situation thing. But Mushishi are priests to the gods. There's no religion in the world of Mushishi so far, not really, except the religions that are built around Mushi, like the religion of the island with the fabled elder or whatever it was called who performs miracles. That was religion. But Mushishi are like priests or shamans, maybe. And we find that in Ginkgo's case, and in the case of Mujika, they are not necessarily that by choice. It's an innate characteristic that they have, that they draw the mushi, and that forces them to become these traveling priests. So, that's new information for us about Ginkgo. Big new information. If I stay in one place long enough, then the place becomes a nest for mushi, and that's dangerous to the other people who are there. It also tells us something about what Ginkgo lacks and what he maybe wants. Ginkgo can't put down roots anywhere. He's not capable of it. He cannot do it. Because if he does, it will almost inevitably harm the people around him, and that's terrible. That's scary and terrible. So, Mujika, a Mushishi in the same position, found the only way that he could possibly stay in one place was if he took the place of the guardian. And not by his own choice, the girl who loved him went and did that for him and forced it upon him to an extent. So now he's stuck. The moment where Ginkgo says that he's a little bit envious of Mujika for his ability to put down roots, and more than that, when we enter the village, we get this idea of all of these villagers like, we need our Mushishi. We need our person who can speak to the guardian of the mountain. We need this person who's in a position of like authority and respect, a spiritual leader of our village, right? In order to tell us what to do. But also in order to like set out rules for us and prevent us from harming ourselves by getting too close to the mushi. Don't come onto the mountainside. Ordinary people will die if they do. There's too much life energy there. You can't handle it. But the Mushishi are the ones who can venture into the unknown, can venture into the powerful lands, and can create a bridge between that unknown space of powerful light, the Light River, and the people who don't even understand with what they deal. One of his instructions forbids us to go deep into the mountains during harvest time. Doctor, guide, bridge, leader, and yet Ginkgo is all of these things while being detached from any specific place or any specific people. He has no town of his own or location of his own. We see Ginkgo in this moment when he reaches the top of the mountain and finds Mujika. We see him almost have an outburst. It's like, it's close to the most emotional that we've ever seen Ginkgo. He wants to prevent this. He wants to change this. He thinks there's something that can be done. Some way of keeping things intact that doesn't resolve with Mujika being lost and destroyed and a new guardian being the Kuchinawa. There must be something other than doing this, and he tries really fucking hard. And part of it is, the truth is, I was envious of you too. And he goes to dangerous extremes, putting himself into the Magura in order to try to prevent this situation, and fails. And what happens afterward, after he gets these memories, after he sees these truths and these moments, he reawakens on this mountainside, the young Kodama, this budding Mushishi, who it seems is going to do precisely what maybe Ginkgo did, which is find his own path with a few bits of information and a few bits of teaching, learn the ways of Mushi, using just the basics that he knows. And he sees this kid on this path and goes, that is correct. That is as it should be. This young shaman will grow up to be a solid shaman. But as he walks away from this location, he realizes, in contrast to his own emotional outburst before, the wisdom kicks in, and he realizes that a part of the balance that he seeks is what has happened here. This really was, unfortunately, the way that things should have been. And then, what a majestic being. And it couldn't care less what humans think. He, a Mushishi, who wants connection, right? That's why he envies Mujika, right? He wants to care. He wants people to think well of him. He envies him in part because he has this position of respect for the village. Even if he's stuck in the mountains, he still has that position of respect as the priest of the guardian, the go-between to the gods. But he looks up and he goes, what a majestic being, this deity-level Mushi that I can never truly comprehend or control, that I can't fight. I, a small priest, must bow to the whims of the gods, and the gods don't care what people think. And he takes joy in that. He's like freed by it, right, Kuchinawa? And it sighs a sigh and then goes to sleep on top of the mountain, untouchable and huge and unknowable and unfathomable. And that, it like snaps Ginkgo back into himself. He started out, well, not started out, but he came to this place of railing against the way the world has to be in this moment. Like, gosh, if only it didn't have to be this way. It shouldn't have to be this way. You should be able to live on as the guardian, or we should be able to save you. But he realizes as he looks up at this majestic, enormous, terrifying snake that this is how it should be. People are people, gods are gods, and shamans, priests, are priests, barely able to touch the divine beyond and to act as some kind of bridge between, but not to ascend to those heights themselves. That's so fascinating. Okay, I think the art direction in this episode is kind of next level. From the little like mushrooms and things that are on top of Mujika's hat that we eventually see in the full pan up of the boar, or once the guardian's like upon the back of the guardian, and that's like a symbol of power in some way, or a symbol of being the guardian in some way, to the gorgeous landscapes, to these incredible scenes where he taps into the Magura, whatever they are. Woof. That's so dope. And he's so impassive as these creepy things wrap around him. It's what he's doing. It's also the coolest fucking depiction of connecting to the land and feeling out from a location. When I said I want to see that, I fully expected like a bird's eye view of an expansion of consciousness outward, but instead we followed the individual consciousness through like the roots of this forest, through this mountain. And that's so freaking cool. It's a gorgeous visual and it's crazy interesting. All of the color for the episode is really beautiful. I don't see like a particular theme of color, but it's really beautiful. The character designs are fantastic, especially Mujika's character design has a lot of that I've seen it all sort of energy to it. Really does feel like something a little bit beyond human is going on with him, and it turns out there is, and he is. And he pushes them away. I do love the way that he treats the kid, right? Like, Mujika knows what he's going to go and do. He's going to go and erase himself. And in doing so, he's going to install a new guardian and prevent Kodama from having to become the guardian, right? He tells Ginkgo that he's going to make Kodama the guardian so that Ginkgo doesn't try to stop him. But in truth, he has no intention of doing so. He instead intends for Kodama to become the correct like priest go-between, someone in the village who then speaks with the guardian and manages the mushi. But the way that he sends him off, you're on track to be one hell of a mushi-shi, is so cool, giving him that little bit of like, yeah, you got this, knowing that it's probably the last time he'll ever see him. That's crazy. And off in darkness we walk. And Ginkgo tries to do the opposite. He tries to push him away. and keep him where he is. But it turns out that it is Kodama who saves him from up on top of the mountain, brings him in, uses the mushi repellent. This confrontation up at the top is so amazing. You can't just decide to die by yourself like this. But eventually he realizes that even if the making of that decision is wrong, the decision itself is right. Ujika knows that it's the right decision. This is some horror stuff, just pure horror. What a fascinating freaking episode. I'm going to look up staff for this one. I want to know who the art director and just episode director and storyboard were. Storyboard Takuya Igarashi. Episode direction Koichiro Sotome, and maybe some duplicates. Yep, there are 3 listed episode directors: Koichiro Sotome, Takuya Igarashi, and Tatsuya Mine. Animation director, I actually don't see a listed animation director. I only see Terumi Nishi as assistant for 11. So that's weird, but I'll go through all the others. So storyboard Takuya Igarashi, director of Bungo Stray Dogs. That's the first thing that I noticed. Okay, cool. Director of Oran High School Host Club. What? Episode director for the 8th episode of the original Pretty Cure. Bunch of Sailor Moon. Ojamajo Doremi. This person has a whole shitload of magical girl show credits, which is not a thing that tracks in any way, shape, or form with what we just saw. What? Okay. Koichiro Sotome, one of the 2 episode directors. Gungrave, Heavy Object, bunch of unit direction for Mushishi stuff. Key animation on Riki O2, one of the worst things that I've watched on OVAdrive for a while. Episode direction on 1 episode of Penguin Drum. Great. Nothing that tracks here. What the fuck? Takuya Igarashi. I already pulled them up. Okay. And storyboard Tatsuya Mine. Storyboard on 1 episode of Chiayafaru. Couple episodes of Casher and Sins, and Mushishi. Great. None of that tracks, even a little bit. What the fuck? Okay. Cool. I love this episode. It's horrifying, and it nails the ethereal incomprehensible nature of Mushi. We're thrown into this world where these 2 characters, Mujika and Ginkgo, they understand way more about the nature of this world than we do, and so we just see their conflict and have to figure out all the pieces by ourselves. And there are enough pieces for us to do so. This is a really fun episode. Not in like a, wow, that was super fun, but like fun to engage with and really interesting to engage with. Extremely engaging, beautiful, and amazing. Amazing. What an episode of Mushishi. Hell yeah. I'm done. That's all I've got. That's all I've got. That's it. I'm done. Good episode. I might go and rewatch it in a couple of hours once I've edited it and rendered it out, and maybe I'll have way more ideas after doing that. But here on a first watch, first reaction, first discussion, this was fascinating and beautiful and really interesting and cool and terrifying in some moments, and heartwarming and heartbreaking and a whole slew of different things, while being artistically super sound and super valuable. Maybe the most interesting episode of Mushishi so far, but that is a very high bar to cross since there have been so many fascinating episodes. I don't even want to compare it to the others. This one's just its own thing. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, I've been Teeaboo. This has been Mushishi 10 and 11. I hope you've enjoyed them as much as I have. We got one really simple episode that was very straightforward and had some thematic elements, and one that was way more complicated and much like deeper seated and explored a lot of more interesting things about the nature of Mushi and the nature of Mushishi, and sort of created this idea in my mind of Mushi as these like as priests, as like Shinto priests in almost in some way, being go-betweens between the unseen gods and the people who exist in this world. Absolutely fascinating. That's a wrap. See you next week for more Mushishi. I'm sure it'll be excellent. Peace.